there, so he never returned from his attic.
Let's see. I didn't know there was a man charismatic. I thought there was a horse charismatic. Are you doing some liberal substitution here?
No, I'm not a horse.
But
I'm a man,
was a horse named
not
Charismatic,
horse.
right?
I'm not half man, half horse. Yes, there was a horse, Charismatic. I think it may have won the Derby.
Yeah.
I think it may have won the Derby.
Yeah.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the A's threaten to leave Oakland. A huge recruit snubs Duke from Milwaukee. And the NFL reveals its season opener. But we begin today with the Lakers at home beating your Knicks last night in overtime, Wilbon.
Yeah.
They did so without LeBron James, who says he's close, but will also miss tonight against Houston. So, Wilbon, was last night's Laker win a big deal, a little deal, or no deal at all?
Tone, I watched every second of this game. I was fascinated by it and Anthony Davis's role in it, and several times in which I thought he might have to just leave the game where he was hurt, and he was obviously punched or kneed. I don't mean punched intentionally, but just like Anthony Davis is a pinata now. He's going to have to be out of this game. Can they win it? It was fascinating. It's a big deal. It was a big deal to the Knicks too, Tony. They're still trying to get that fourth spot and therefore home court advantage in the first round. And, I mean, you know, Randall and Derrick Rose were out there battling, but the Lakers patched something together with no ball handling, no natural ball handling guards. I thought it was a tremendous win. It had some grit and guts to it, and they needed it because they don't want to be in that play-in round, no matter what the consequences are that might help them in the real, bracket. But yeah, I thought this was a big deal win for the Lakers last night.
Yeah, I think that the fact that they won without LeBron James made it a big deal because they are 10-15, I think. Yeah, when LeBron isn't there, they were 10-15 going into last night. And you know what 10-15 gets you? It gets you out of the playoffs. So the fact that they were able to win that game and the fact that they were able to withstand the brilliance of Tibbs and the 27 points, legitimately so, of Derrick Rose to beat a playoff team. The Knicks are in fourth place right now, I believe fourth or fifth. So I thought that made it a big deal. But, and let's get to the important part here about what happens with the playoffs and the play-in. It's not a big deal if it keeps them in the play-in game. Okay, if it keeps them in seventh. How do they get to sixth? If I'm correct on how they get to sixth, they have to beat Portland, which owns the tiebreaker right now against them. So they probably have to go 3-0.
Yeah, they got
in the
winnable
last
games. Winnable games.
They got Houston, at Indiana, and at New Orleans, all losing teams at the moment. And Portland has to go 1-2 at Utah, at Phoenix, or Denver at home. And so to me, even though I would sit here and tell you that being in seventh is smarter because you play Phoenix, a team with no playoff experience whatsoever. You don't get to play Phoenix
right away. You probably have to beat Golden State. And you might not have been paying attention to Steph Curry the last few days, but I have.
Oh, no, I understand what you're saying. As a matter of fact, I made a note about that.
Okay.
The Golden State is in eighth, and Los Angeles is in seventh. And the winner moves on, although the loser is not officially eliminated. The loser can still make it. But if they put that game on TV, that will be the highest rated game of the NBA season. LeBron against Curry. 10 million people will watch that game.
Yeah, I agree. They're not going to play in a closet. They're going to be on TV. Tony, Golden State, which also won last night, is playing to a level now that says we're in the playoffs now. Steph Curry, I don't care if I go 1 for 11, which happened from 3. I can move this team. I can run this team. We can win a single elimination game, even if it gets the Lakers.
That's right.
So let's not count the Lakers moving into the main draw just yet if they're in seventh. Not yet. You can crown them. You can crown them if you want to.
When LeBron gets back,
to quote
LeBron
the
gets
Dennis
back,
Green.
that's it.
We've been waiting for that for a few weeks now, haven't we? When LeBron gets back. Let's move across the bay to Oakland, where the A's say they're looking at leaving town unless their new stadium deal gets done. The A's have played in Oakland since 1968, when they moved from Kansas City, as you and I remember, Tony, and have been trying to get a new ballpark built along the waterfront. Beautiful location. The Warriors left town for San Francisco, and the Raiders left for Las Vegas. Tone, could you see the A's leaving too?
Well, let me turn this back on you. If they left, is it a big deal? Does anybody care? Nobody goes to their games, Mike.
No.
They are consistently at the bottom of the attendance ladder. Oakland, Miami, Tampa. Nobody goes. You can't make the case that they're a civic treasure. even though they've been in the playoffs the last 3 seasons and 6 of the last 9 with no payroll whatsoever. So, I mean, I don't know what you are supposed to say about them leaving other than this. Teams relocate in football all the time. Los Angeles moved to St. Louis, moved back to Los Angeles. San Diego went up the freeway. They're in Los Angeles. Oakland left,
Raiders.
went to LA,
Down,
went to
up.
Oakland, went to the Raiders.
Yeah.
In basketball, went to Vegas. In basketball, teams move. How else would we have Oklahoma City and Memphis? But in baseball, in the last 49 years, I believe, there's only been 2 moves. The second iteration of the Washington Senators left and went to Texas, and Montreal came down to Washington. So it is rare in baseball, and I don't know how baseball will react to the possibility of it happening.
Well, Tony, I want to react first because I've spent a lot of time in Northern California the last 6 years. And as I've told on this show before, I have walked into the outfield in the stadium in Oakland right before a Warriors game because they are attached, literally. And I've said, hey, can I watch a couple of innings? Yeah, come on in. Can we get you anything while you're here? There's nobody there. The club,
That's right.
the franchise has been a lot more loyal to Oakland, to Alameda County, than the fans there have been to that team. There's no question about this. So I don't want to hear any emails and you're wrong. No, I'm not wrong. I know it's a mausoleum. It's empty. Now, it's not a great stadium. I get that. The waterfront location would be good. It would be part of a larger development. I would love to see it. Not everybody in that county and in that jurisdiction can afford to go to professional sports. I realize that as well. All right, it's a lot more seats than it is to say in the arena next door where the Warriors are playing. So, Tony, this is complicated. I hope they don't move. I hope they can work this out and remain in Oakland. But San Jose seems to always be some sort of spoken alternative, whether it's leverage play or whether it's an alternative.
So let me go back to the lead into this story. Because the Raiders have left Oakland. They've gone to Las Vegas.
Yep.
The Warriors have left Oakland. They've gone
Across
to
the
San
bay.
Francisco. If the A's leave, that's it. Because the Golden Seals left 45 years ago.
Wow,
That's it.
yeah.
Is that what you want in
I
America
don't. Yeah.
for Oakland, California? Is that what
Great
you
question.
want?
Great
A town
question. The answer
bereft
should be
of
no.
teams.
That's
right. Patrick Baldwin Jr. is a 5-star basketball recruit from Wisconsin. He is rated the number 4 recruit in the entire country from this high school class of 2021. He's 6'9", and he has guard skills. Among the schools that want him are Duke, Georgetown, and Kentucky. But Baldwin has chosen to attend the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, a mid-major, and play for a coach he is intimately familiar with, his father, Patrick Baldwin Sr. Wilbon, do you question his decision to forego the Blue Bloods and play for his dad?
Tony, I got a little bit of skin in this because that Patrick Baldwin Jr., he matriculated largely in Evanston, Illinois, where he was in camp, though lording over a kid named Matthew Wilbon. They attend the same Chris Collins' camp at Northwestern. And Patrick Sr. and his wife are Northwestern alums. I know these people. I know their son well, okay? And I'm glad largely if he wasn't going to come to Northwestern, or we thought he might come at some point when his father was Chris's assistant coach at Northwestern. We thought he might come there and stay in Evanston, but when his dad went to Milwaukee, we understood. If you want to play for your dad, what, somebody going to tell you no? You have covered all kinds of people over time who have played for their fathers. It is a great honor.
right.
The father's honored. The son is honored. I'm not about to complain about this. And we've seen these mid-majors now produce big-time teams and even, I think, one lottery player. And this kid could be involved in both of those.
Gordon Hayward was a lottery player,
Yes.
and he came
Little
out of
Patrick,
the Horizon
as we call
Conference.
him at 6'9", Little
Yeah.
Patrick could be that next guy.
So my son works with me on my podcast, and I'm thrilled. I think this is a charming story. I would give you a couple of names, Doug McDermott and Pete Maravich.
Yes.
I don't think they got hurt playing for their dads. I don't think that was a problem for them. I look at this, and I don't say it's wrong to play for a giant school. In fact, quite the opposite. I think it's great when you play for a giant school. But this, to me, is sort of like when kids decide I'm going to play for a historically black college. And you go, that's nice. That's good. This is nice. He's playing for his dad. If he's a one-year kid, if he's that good, let him play for his dad. His dad's record as a head coach, I believe, is 47-70. If he can save his dad's job, and extend his dad's job?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that?
For me,
and
this
by
is
the
a
way,
big congratulations to them all knowing them as I
in
do.
basketball, where talent is more recognizable than in football or baseball at the same age, they'll find him. Pros are going to find him. It's
They're
okay.
gonna find him easy.
He's
and
not
at
hurting
6'9" with
himself.
his talent, it ain't gonna be hard to find little Patrick.
Let's take a break, but coming up, did the NFL get its season opener right by pitting the Cowboys against Tom Brady and the Bucs?
And what's the word for Shohei Ohtani leaving the mound?
Time for the honorary doctor to show off some humane letters. Let's get the first one from the producer over the loudspeaker.
The Bucs hosting the Cowboys in the Thursday night NFL opener is blank.
It's gold. It's gold, Jerry. 30 million people will watch this. The biggest draw in the NFL is Tom Brady as an individual. The biggest draw for a team, the Dallas Cowboys, even when they stink. And because this is the first game of the season, you don't even know if they stink. Plus, they have legitimate drama with Dak Prescott finally coming back, being paid $8 billion to do so. And I understand, Mike, that you always say we know that the teams are going to play and where they're going to play years in advance, but we don't know when. And to drop this alone on a Thursday night is a stroke of brilliance. This is a game that will be watched, as will one other game with Brady this year, Brady at New England. It's gold.
So if this game was on Thanksgiving Day, it wouldn't be watched? If this game was on October 4th, it wouldn't be watched? If the game was on December 10th, Thanksgiving, it wouldn't be watched? It'd be watched a hell of a lot more than this. You know what it is?
Not October 4th or December 10th.
It's fine.
No.
It's fine. This to-do over when the games are played that we know are going to be played and where they're going to be played. This is just stupid hype. That's what this is. Oh, let's foam at the mouth. We knew the game was going to be played. It's going to be played. It's fine.
It's the best game they're going to have all year in terms of draw because it's Brady and the Cowboys. Next.
It was blank that Shohei Ohtani played right field after pitching last night.
It was Ruth plus. Now, it is likely that Babe Ruth had a handful of games when he pitched for Boston where he came out of the game and went in the field in 1917 or 1918. But he never had a game where he struck out 10 and then went out into the field like Ohtani did. Ohtani had a fabulous game. He went 7 innings. Let me get this straight here. 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 10 Ks. And then he went into right field, and he doesn't play in the field. He hasn't played in the field since Japan in 2014, I believe. He's basically a DH. I find myself rooting for him all the time, and it's sad that the team he's on stinks, and the bullpen came in and blew the game, and they're in last place in their division.
If it's Ruth plus, it's foreshadowing. All right? Because last I checked, after we get through the period from 1914 to about 1919, right, when Ruth pitched a lot, Ruth went to the field, and he stayed there. So if this is going to be Ruth, if we're going to continue these Babe Ruth, George Herman Ruth comparisons, this is foreshadowing. He's going to have to stop pitching at some point, though, because if he's Ruth and he's hitting them out like that, somebody's going to say, son, we need you every day. We'll find a pitcher. By the way, starting pitching is not even their problem. What the Angels' relief pitching is. Nonetheless, foreshadowing, Tony, if he's going to be out there, that will make him Ruth.
Ruth plus is what I said.
If he's Ruth
he's
plus,
a dominating pitcher, and he can play every day as a
home
DH.
runs, baby.
That's it. Let's take one last break. Still to come, does Albert Almora Jr. really have a case that he caught this ball?
Great fielder, man, but woo. And what should we expect from James Harden if he...
Yep, a little Cowboys, Bucks here, sprinkle little Browns, Kansas City there, week 1. And week 4, Brady's return to New England. NFL schedule was a slow release this year, like dropping breadcrumbs from a breadcrumb factory, and the factory made out of breadcrumbs. Let's go!
Feed me!
16-week event, the schedule release. All year long. Harbaugh.
Games! Look, games! Let me hear it, National Battle. Week 1, Bucs Cowboys in Tampa. That's your opener. KC, Cleveland on schedule that first week. Green Bay, New Orleans on schedule that first week. Pittsburgh, Buffalo. You can go on and on and on. And then, excuse me, but you can't help but just stare at week 4. Buccaneers at New England. Brady versus Belichick. And his return to New England. What did we do to deserve this? Oh, that's right. All of 2020, the pandemic. Yes, we deserve everything we get. Mina Kimes, what from the schedule's very slow release jumps out at you?
Well, you left out the Sam Darnold revenge game, Panthers
I
Jets,
noticed,
which
yeah.
I actually am a little bit intrigued
You have
by.
to get a
But
hold of your life.
as far as actual meaningful football, I got to go with Chiefs-Browns because the Browns are legitimate AFC contenders. Of course, the Chiefs are number 1 in everyone's hearts. And they went into this offseason, Tony, with a very specific goal: fix our pass defense. That was the weakest part of the team. They signed Jadeveon Clowney. They got Troy Hill and John Johnson from the Rams. And then in the draft, they got Greg Newsome II, excellent cornerback from Northwestern, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. They are stacked on paper. Patrick Mahomes is, of course, the ultimate test for a pass defense. So I think we'll see very early on if the Browns are just good on paper as they've been in the past or if they are true contenders.
Israel Gutierrez, what jumps out at you? This very slow release of the NFL schedule.
Well, this same game jumped out to me, so I'll just continue there because it's sort of the rare week 1 measuring stick game if you're the Cleveland Browns, and they've dealt with expectations and haven't handled them well in the past, so we'll see how we go here, but also just on the other side with the Chiefs because, 2 years ago after they won their Super Bowl, we thought they'd run off 5 or 6, so we'd like to make sure everything seems to be in place there in KC, including, or mostly, that offensive line, but in terms of revenge games, I'm definitely looking at that Lions at the Rams game with Jared Goff going back to Los Angeles. There's just something about that relationship between him and McVay and how it dissolved so quickly last year, and I just can't wait to see what ramps up out of the week of quotes.
You guys have these revenge games, Sam Darnold versus the Jets and Goff versus the Rams. Who's getting revenge on who? I don't... Kevin Blackistone, I know you said it before we sat down. This whole slow release of a schedule is kind of driving you crazy. Give it to me. Come on.
Well, it's just the slow release of information that the NFL gives us every month of the year. Here we are in the middle
like
of
this?
May, and this is because, well, I'm not saying I don't like it, but it becomes a story. So I do like talking about it now, and you know what? I like talking about what you buried in the lead, and that's the game that should kick off the season. It's the Buccaneers at New England. That's what you want to see. I don't want to see the stinking Cowboys, a 6-10 team who couldn't even figure out who they wanted to have at quarterback and pay him a bunch of money. I want to see Belichick and Brady again. That's the game that should be the first game to kick off the season.
And Pablo Torre.
I just love how this day has become like the Pentagon Papers for so many people. Oh, we're getting details about this schedule. Yes, it is insane that we do it like this, but I do want to get conspiratorial if we're going to go that way, because I was looking at that schedule, Tony, and I was like, wait a minute. Okay, Fox, big media rights holder at 4:25 p.m. on Sunday. They get Broncos, Giants. That's weird. Why are they doing that? And then I see simultaneously at that same time slot, Fox also has Packers,